The next thing to kind of look at when we're talking about output devices is virtual reality. So we saw with augmented reality or reality overlays, it's taking the real world, the physical world that's around us, and augmenting on top of it or overlaying on top of it digital information, right? So we could see directions, we could see temperature, we could see flight information, we could record video, we could take pictures, all that. Virtual reality is creating a digital environment which is virtual, it's not real, and immersing yourself in that environment. And virtual reality has an important place to play in things like flight simulators. So here, pilots could come in and test out and train on virtual cockpits, right, where they kind of learn how to fly new planes, and they have all of the plane cockpit machinery, buttons, dials, joysticks, whatever the heck those are called, yokes, I think they are, around them. And then they run simulations and they get to practice, flying and landing the airplane and things like that. There's even, sort of like virtual reality rides at some amusement parks where you just kind of go into a little, room with seats, and then the room actually will go up and down and left and right, and you see an image projected onto the front of the screen. So even though you're not going anywhere, it'll look and feel like you're in motion and moving. And the military uses something similar to that with, here we go, with like this, right? So here's a Hummer on top of hydraulics surrounded by screens. So you could run scenarios where you're in this Hummer and the Hummer is actually, moving as if you're in the real environment. So it starts to get you used to, what is it like to be in that type of environment. I had the opportunity, a couple of years ago to go tour the United States Marine Corps base where they train all of the cadets to become Marines down in San Diego a few years ago. I went and toured that. And it was interesting to see how they use technology and virtual environments to train future Marines, because that's one of the things they do. And they have a shooting range where you go in and you fire a gun that has a recoil like a real live gun, though you're not really shooting real rounds. And on the screen in front of you, it presents scenarios that you have to sort of navigate. So that's one of the ways virtual reality is used. It's used for training pilots. It's also used for training our military. And if you search Google for images about virtual reality, like this is virtual reality military, you can see an image of this guy here. He's got a virtual reality helmet on that's presenting him with various, it's just basically this is the display in front of your eyes, and these are the sounds. And he's up in a gunner cockpit with this virtual gun running a scenario, so he's learning how to be more alert in the battlefield and how to operate in the battlefield, but doing it in an environment where there's actually no real world physical implications. The images are pretty dang interesting if you look at the images of virtual reality training, people walking around with helmets on like this. And you can watch videos about Army virtual reality training. Here's a video of some guy crazy looking, right, with little robot ears and things like that. So yeah, some interesting images when you search for virtual reality for the military. And here's a flight simulator. You can see that video at YouTube. Just search for virtual reality or flight simulator at YouTube is how I got that one. It's even something that came up in Denzel Washington's movie Flight, where they had other pilots kind of go through what he actually went through in reality. They tested other pilots, how would they fare in this scenario, this situation, and they put the other pilots into a flight simulator. And according to this movie, right, in the story, he was the only one who was able to successfully land the plane. So if any other pilot had been in his position, they would have all crashed the plane. Here, this is a pretty crazy looking virtual reality helmet. I like that image just because it's so nuts. But we're starting to see, you could buy virtual reality helmets to do video games and things like that. And I just think it's kind of interesting to check this guy out with his Oculus virtual reality helmet on and playing his game and his little smile. It's just like, it's a little bit bizarre. I've tried virtual reality before, not too long ago. I had, a virtual reality helmet on and was going on a virtual roller coaster. It's just a little bit trippy. And I don't know if I like it. I don't think I do. But I definitely see its use. You also have virtual reality rooms where you're just completely surrounded by images, and so that'd be a virtual reality room. All right, so that's a little bit of information about virtual reality.